Between 1995 and April 2001, 13 black males under the age of 40 were killed by Cincinnati police or died while in custody.
At 2 a.m. on Saturday morning, April 7, 2001, an unarmed black teenager, Timothy Thomas, was shot and killed by a white police officer in an area of downtown Cincinnati called Over the Rhine.
You took a part of my life from me.
All right. Yes, they did.
So I demand to know why.
The national media attention the riots brought to Cincinnati resulted in an economic boycott of the city.
Mostly young crowds were on the streets for a second time in 12 hours today, protesting the latest shooting death of a black man by police.
The media labeled Cincinnati as racist and exposed the race issues between the black community and the Cincinnati police.
What do you know about the Cincinnati riots?
I don't know anything about the Cincinnati riots.
The Cincinnati riots? I don't know. I never really heard of it before.
I don't really know anything about the riots.
Looking into the riots made us wonder, why does our generation not know about the Cincinnati riots? When you think of the date 2001, what do you think of?
9/11.
A colleague of mine said the World Trade Centers have just been attacked.
I was in first grade listening to a story that my teacher was reading about a fire truck.
Terrorist attacks can shake the foundations of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America.
2001 was a crucial year for the United States, but it was also a crucial year for Cincinnati.
In the Battle of Iraq, the United States and our allies have prevailed.
A lot has come from 9/11, but it's been 11 years. What has come from the riots?
I've always been interested in justice issues, particularly in Cincinnati. When I came to Moeller, my first year, it was a matter of getting a hold of the culture. It wasn't until Shantytown I saw how much good Moeller students could do. And so thus I was sitting in a help session listening to some guys tell their stories. And so as I listened to these harrowing tales of these guys getting out of prison and all the injustices they suffered, I thought, boom, Tim Valentine, a man who can make videos. Tim shocked me my first year here when I assigned an essay. Tim came in with a video with Legos about his life.
F-A-T-E, over here, sir. I believe I am here right now on this earth for a reason. I've always been interested in film throughout my whole high school experience. Starting with the film Jake Alexander and I created about war for a world history class.
Tim and I have been good friends for a very long time. Creating the pep rally videos allowed our friendship to grow to a whole new dimension.
As a parent, when your son or daughter plays sports, you become a sports fan. Or if they sing and dance, you're in the theater. Well, if your son is a filmmaker and his best friend's a filmmaker, then I try to find any way I can to get involved.
I feel like, you know, a lot of the guys who grew up in our program didn't have a mother or didn't have a father, or they lacked some type of parent in their home. And a lot of guys on the street as well.
I tend to have big ideas and then I'm brought down to earth and realize, hey, be a little more realistic here. We're dealing with teenagers. So when I proposed this idea to Tim, we were standing at the printer in the library and I threw it at him. He got a little gleam in his eye and said, okay, we'll talk about it later.
Mr. Eble approached me with the idea of this documentary about this program called the HELP program, which at the time I knew nothing about. And he started talking about it, talking about returning citizens and felons and guys on parole and police officers. I started getting excited. I mean, I love making videos and it really sounded like a cool topic to document. So I was in. I got Jake Alexander, my mom, and Mr. Gray all involved in the project.
The fact that they accepted all of us as people that, you know, are wanting to help them, and they open up and tell us their stories. When we were there, they gave us these T-shirts kind of welcoming us and accepting us as, members of their program, which felt real good.
Brother Mike, founder of the HELP program, introduced us to some of the young men who are leaders of the program. Here are some of their stories.
My first felony I got was for burglary, receiving stolen property. Kind of started when I turned 18, I got my first felony. Because I pawned some stuff in at a pawn shop for a friend of mine that came back stolen. And kind of started going down the direction to where I was selling drugs and different things.
Did you spend any jail time?
Just 6 months. I did 6 months in jail for the receiving.
But when I started hanging the Wind Terrace and I got a little older, that's really where I started doing a lot of stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing. I used to rob people and I used to sell weed. I was 18 when I made my mistake. I was 18 years old. I was manipulated for passing bad checks. You get what you see. You get guys out here trying to make money by any way they can.
I got into prison when I was, like I said, I was 17 and got into it with a guy, man, over some drugs. A couple guys told me man, you need to basically stop shooting I would do and just hit him. So I ended up hitting him. Actually hit him in the leg and in the stomach. Did 8 years after that.
This next story by James Lunsford is an example of how prevalent racism still is in Cincinnati today.
The whole reason that I was in this situation was because there was an altercation to where my girlfriend had got pulled over. I decided to go to the site just to see if she was still there, just to make sure she was okay. I did ask the officer from across the street, "Sir, can you fill me in on what's going on? I'm just trying to come check on the girl that was arrested." And his comments to me was, "It's none of your goddamn business." So the officer tells me that I'm arrested. I'm still not clear on why he's trying to arrest me. The officer attempts to mace me. I can just feel these officers, stumping me in, kicking me, macing me directly in my face. And the end result of that, I ended up getting stuck with 2 felonies.
Well, my name is Alan Parks, and I'm an ex-convict, returning citizen. As far as many felonies I have, I got a few. Receiving stolen property, about 3 assaults, carrying concealed weapon, and jail life, prison life is being murdered mentally. Some people give their lives, really sacrifice their life not to go back to prison, and I personally know why. Because it is something that was built by the devil.
I was in Lebanon Corrections from 2003 to 2010, and pretty much, man, it was just gladiator school. It's just dog eat dog in there, and it's like, if you try to do anything positive in there, you was looked at as weak.
Just being in jail on and off within the last 10 years just kind of made me want to change my life and the way I was living.
This made Jake and I pose the question, do people deserve a second chance?
I was given a second chance without question because of who my family was.
Well, first of all, when it comes to a second chance, I believe that everybody deserves one.
It wasn't until making this documentary that I realized everyone does deserve a second chance.
What's your definition of a second chance?
Second chance is when you screw up real bad and then you get another shot. You get to try again. You get to try over.
They really are deserving of a second chance.
We were inspired as we documented the struggles of the lives of these returning citizens.
So I knew the power of these stories because I had heard the stories of the HELP guys a couple of times. And so initially I was a little anxious about the first meeting at Moeller, but as soon as those guys started talking, as soon as a conversation was happening, more of a dialogue than a monologue, it's like everything took off.
The program started in Over the Rhine, and how it started was I was director of a day homeless center, and there was a volunteer there. and there's a volunteer named Tess.
I just noticed the disparity out on the streets of all of the young men. It just seems so hopeless. They had nothing, no jobs, really no direction.
And she kept saying, why don't you do something about all those guys standing on the corner there? We should do something, get them, help them get jobs. They were there day after day after day. And my first response was, and I didn't say this out loud, but I said, woman, you are naive. And basically meaning I knew what their situation was. I mean, they'd been convicted, they'd been in and out of jail, nobody will hire them. They were basically rejects, society's rejects.
And she kind of sent the concern to Brother Mike, you know, what we gonna do with some of these guys out here on the street? Because at the time, Brother Mike was working with the homeless. And she said, well, what about getting them jobs? And from there, her son, a lawyer, ended up talking to a BA at Local 372, and they started getting guys into the ironworkers union, myself included. And that's pretty much how all of this got started.
I thought, okay, I'll try it.
Brother Mike is an angel. He's the most caring and loving man I have ever met in my life. He cares so much about the people that he interacts with and the relationships that he makes. It's just so eye-opening. He really cares for these returning citizens. They're pretty much like his kids. He took me under his belt. I talk to him all the time. He's goofy, you know, you gotta stay with him. But I think he's just one of the coolest, nicest brothers I've ever met.
What was so crazy was this old white man accepted me quicker than one of my boys are, you know what I'm saying? He just, I got you. That's basically what he said, I got you.
Well, Brother Mike is kind of, I would say at least for me, an inspiration. I always say that if Jesus is real and alive and well in the 21st century, is Brother Mike.
That's how I met Brother Mike, which I feel like was a blessing to me. And then next thing you know, he brought me and showed me love. I don't know him at all from yesterday. And just the love that he gave me was just like, was tremendous. You know, it was like, I couldn't believe it.
And I remember when I first met him thinking, this is ridiculous. This guy is way over his head and doesn't know what he's getting into, and not sure if there's gonna be any real, anything real is gonna come out of it.
So with you, boy. How'd the interview go over there? Decent. You got interview too?
Yeah.
The help program do is, man, like when guys get out of jail, you know what I'm saying, we try to catch them before they fall back to the street. Basically, you know how it go when you get out. Your man's waiting on you with the pack, fresh, everything like that, but that ain't, we trying to change that though. You know what I'm saying? You can still remain yourself, but at the same time, do something positive. You know what I'm saying? So you won't revert back to jail. Because most guys, when they get out, they don't know. If you say, is it cool? I mean, how long did you do?
2 years.
2 years, that's long enough. You know what I'm saying? You miss a whole lot in 2 years to the point where you done missed out on a lot. Probably your kids, cousins, you know what I'm saying? Mama getting old, somebody done died, things like that. So when you get out, you're already scoring because they don't do anything to prepare you outside of that jail cell. So it's like, we here, the help program, and what we do is we more of like a brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? We hold each other accountable. And it don't matter what neighborhood you're from, for real, because we all the same. That's what we trying to break. So basically what we try to do, man, is we mold each other into men. You know what I'm saying? What's the definition of a real man? You know what I'm saying? Taking care of your family. You know what I'm saying? Living to see another day. And having that good job so you can maintain and stabilize your family. What Brother Mike do is, man, he put you in a position to where you can get those jobs that you never thought you could get before.
But you want it, you gotta want it.
You gotta want it. And most guys out of jail, they really do want it, but they be scared. Yeah. They be scared to change, like, man, I don't know nothing about this shit. What I'm gonna do?
A group of people you don't know, you know, stuff like that.
It help you speak out more.
up here.
Right.
Yeah, that's how I was feeling about coming up here.
Right,
I don't
man.
know how people was going to look at me or nothing.
I like when the person look at me and they be like, oh, he got the tats on his face. I'm scared. But I bet you when you get up and speak, and you let your voice be heard, they whole demeanor change, bro. All that on your face and whatever like that don't even matter. To the point where it's like, they want to help you in your situation because they never been in that predicament before. So it's like, you know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? I got dope cases. I've been to the joint, you know what I mean? All that. I ain't proud of none of that, but I can tell people about it because that's my past. But I also tell them my future, what direction I went in, and now the direction I'm moving in. That's only because I feel like the things that I'm doing is giving back to me too. It's 50 people in that room that know my name, and half of them I don't even know who they is for real. Now you know how good that feel, bro? And ain't none of them, majority of them ain't even my color. And you know where we come from, we only see our color. That's it. Feel me?
I want to ask
how much love I give for the love I give. You feel me? To where somebody else is word of mouth. Somebody else done told them this person about me or that person about me. You know how many times I hear about Nate? Like, oh, I met this one guy, I think he's with help too. His name Nathan Gordon or something. Feel me? That made me know that I want to be on his team when I hear his name in the street. You feel me? That's love, bro. You get your record expunged.
On the 27th this month.
Yeah.
On the 27th this month, I'm throwing a party. Huh? Just one. Just one, you know, but that one felony is a lifetime sentence. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a job for a year and a half.
I ain't got no felonies, though.
You don't need none, though. You feel me? If you want to change, it's better for you to get in this program than to, oh, we can't accept you. And then you're going to fall right back to the streets. Because we know what your mindset is.
Because I don't want you to get no felony. If you ain't got one, I don't want you to get one.
Exactly.
But you got felonies, right? Don't let it hinder you. I got 4 of them, bro. I got 30-some misdemeanors, but I got a car. You feel me? I got a job.
Insurance.
I got a driver's license. I got a GED. I got insurance. And I got a whole team of adopted brothers on top of a father that I ain't never had, bro.
And he white. And he white.
Exactly.
He white. You feel me? Like, man, brother Mike, man, he lived down the way. Right on Lynn. Stayed there for some years.
Race.
On race. On him.
We know
but he was everywhere.
For years.
But he been there for years, you know what I'm saying? And when he walked in the neighborhood, man, them boys respect him, though. You get what I'm saying? Because they know he trying to help us. I ain't never met no white guy who really just wanted to help us. And no, we done got dealt the raw deal just because of our skin.
You know?
He changed my life, you know what I'm saying? So he changed everybody's life he touched. He'll change your life if you give him a chance to.
Did a lot of things in my past, you know, I want to leave it in my past. With the help program and, you know, having a second chance, I'm able to do that.
Then I got into the help program and met Brother Mike, and I had that sense of hope again. Mm-hmm. Like, since then, I've been getting on the right track because he teach me a lot of stuff, and I meet the people that I was around before when I was younger, before I started making the mistakes. I meet people like that again so I could see which way to go now. I'm kind of back on the track, I'm back on the schedule because every day I got something productive to do instead of just going about every day with no sense of direction.
Because I know where I would be at right now. If it wasn't for Brother Mike, I would be back out there, you know what I mean? And literally, guys say dead or in jail, I know for a fact, after being there, is that same situation.
Because what we do, we team up with other organizations. Amos is one of the biggest organizations that we team up with, and what Amos is, it's a community of Catholic churches that go to the grassroots and try to fight for different social justice issues. And one of the things that we had fought for was a fair hiring policy.
When we teamed up with Amos, had the initiative, but we teamed up with them, and a lot of our guys spoke at the city council. Mm-hmm. And were influential in getting that fair hiring policy passed.
Which allows certain individuals, such as individuals in the help program, to have that fair opportunity to get a job. Instead of filling out your application, have to explain your record, you don't have to. So you get that fair chance.
When he tells me that I don't see Brother Mike,
I see my father that passed away because my father was that guy that told me, you need to do this, you need to do that, but I didn't listen. So it's like I got a second opportunity for a father figure. And that's why I think Brother Mike.
I look at these guys like they're my brothers. You know, Brother Mike, like you said, is like a father, you know, because I ain't have a dad growing up. So I feel like that's one of the most important things. I got 2 sons, 9 and 4. So I felt like that was one of the most important things in the child's life is to have a father, because if I had a father at 9, I probably wouldn't have been out on the streets anyway.
I am the Director of Reentry for Hamilton County, and what that is, my office and my position is brand new to the county. There's no infrastructure built together as a system of reintegrating individuals. There's a system that arrests you when you commit a crime. There's a system that hands out the punishment as the courthouse. There's a system that supervises you, the Department of Corrections or the Justice Center. Once your sentence is complete, there is no system of reintegration. How do we support individuals? Just like individuals being released from hospitals or different cares, when you're being released from some type of facility, there's always an aftercare component. There's no aftercare in criminal justice, and we are removing individuals 10 or 15 years at a time based on their crime. They should serve their time, but we're just dropping them back off at the Greyhound station saying, okay, you're free, go about it, and they've been removed from this community for 10 or 15 years, and they don't have a clue how to even get a state ID. So we have no system, no point of entry to say, who can I go to help me?
As soon as you come home, the only guys that want to give you a handout are guys that you usually deal with, and what they're handing you out is nothing but money and drugs and a gun. And as soon as you come home, it's straight back to it. And that's exactly what I did as soon as I came home. All I did was sell dope and party.
In prison, you can get housing, you can get food, you can get clothing, you can get medical, you can go to school. But when you come back to society, after completing your punishment, after serving your time, you can't get housing at a low-income housing authority. Some states you can't even get food stamps if you have a drug trafficking charge. So it's kind of a contradictory. We're saying our system of punishment, that we sentence you to serve time based on a crime, and once you serve that time, you're free to move on. But actually, your time starts once the gate closed behind you, because society has a stigma around what a criminal is. It's a lot of based in fear. We spend a lot of dollars based on feel-good methods. We spend millions of dollars monitoring sex offenders who recidivate at 2% of the time, but we spend no dollars monitoring robbers and burglaries who recidivate at 85% of the time.
My experience of the prison system and research, and having visited some prisons in Louisiana when I taught down there, was that, speaking broadly, we tend to run not as much correctional institute that is based on rehabilitation. We tend to run almost small crime universities where people are basically not rehabilitated. They're just kept there for a while and made even worse with rough prison conditions, but on top of that, a rough society that doesn't really accept them back in as rehabilitated people. They're almost looked at with like a black mark on them all the time. Scarlet letters, if you will.
I mean, the guy who went to jail at 17 years old and spent 16 years in jail and comes out at 33. And
how's he bounce from that?
He doesn't, he thinks, you know, he sees somebody talking on the phone walking down the street and he thinks they're crazy. And he didn't know about cell phones. He didn't know how to write a check. He didn't know how to pay a bill. So it was like there's a lot of issues in there.
Like I try to go get low income housing, get denied for that, so I probably have to rent from somebody else for like $300 and above, but I can't pay that if I can't get the job. So I'm forced to live in a situation that I really don't want to be in.
Before I got into the HELP program, I didn't have a job for 1.5 years. I didn't have $1 in my pocket, not even change. I was just walking the street. I walked the whole CoreChange to fill out applications. I kid you not. The whole CoreChange, all the way to the mall. And it was just something, me just trying to get a peace of mind and me trying to stay confident, but didn't anybody call me. Not one job called. And I know I filled the application out right. It was just that they didn't hire returning citizens.
How do you personally feel with working with these guys in the HELP program and these returning citizens? Like, a lot of people, look at someone that's a felon or returning citizen and like, oh, I won't hire him because, they don't trust him, something like that. Well, how do you feel? I'm sure you've had contact with them, you've been working with them. Do you want to give us your 2 cents on that?
Yeah, it makes me angry. It makes me angry. We have guys who I work with in the HELP program who have kids the same age as mine, who can't get the same jobs or have the same opportunities that I've been able to have. We have a guy who has a 2-year-old kid who can't get into college because of his felony record. He can't get the financial aid. It makes me very angry that this is happening. I'm very angry that some of the jobs that they are able to get are low-paying jobs without health insurance. That makes me frustrated. This isn't the kind of economy and world that we should be in.
We need our recreation center open back up for the kids because all the kids hanging on the corner, getting in trouble. If they had a center back open, they could be on a basketball team, whatever, doing little things, tutoring. They need tutoring, all that. If they open that center back.
Like she said, my aunt says a lot of kids that's like 12, I want to say to 14, 15, 16 carrying guns out here. And they probably do it just because it ain't nothing else to do. And they need a different outlet, like she said. When that center was open, it wasn't really no young kids trying to be grown, trying to do stuff that they weren't supposed to be doing.
What do you think about some of the kids that, are raised up in here? Are they, going to fall into that same pattern of...
Some of them won't, and some of them will. And I know that for a fact because there's some of them to the point where they're not up to listen anymore. Like, it's no money out here. It's none. But the money that is out here, you got guys that's fighting for it. And these guys are, mind you, these guys are friends, or once was friends, so now they robbing each other because they have felonies and they can't get jobs. When you in these neighborhoods like this, you see all these fences boarded up, and it's a lot of, there's nowhere to go, and you can't see, and I just feel like these fences, these fences represent that, like you're trapped and you can't go nowhere, right? So it's like they can't see outside these neighborhoods.
I call my color in I call in every day, and if my color come up, I gotta stop what I'm doing and go drop. So I can't do that trying to work a 12-hour job. I got a probation violation for non-submitting urine samples and for non-reporting because my probation officer that I had, no matter what I did, I dropped clean urines for a year straight. But she still wanted to give me problems. She wanted to curse me out, things like that. And I felt like, I ain't called no new charges or nothing, but you keep giving me these problems.
And that story is how they take their rights away. He'll get mad I'm going to get mad at you if you go to the judge.
Yeah.
Well, what's he doing? He gets scared.
Jake and I have filled out probably about 50 hours of HD footage, and then that's the easy part. Then we have to go through and edit it. I had no clue I'd be filming this much. I thought it'd be pretty easy, follow somebody around, edit it, and be done like a pep rally video. Wrong. The reason that it's not that bad is because we're doing it for a program that deserves it.
Working on this program has really given me a sense of confidence, not just, in Tim and Jake, but in their whole generation. The fact that, teenagers typically characterized as people who don't care about things, but when a story is told, people will care.
When Tim approached me and told me about how we would be working with convicts, I had no idea what to expect. When I first thought of the word convict, I thought of someone that's been in jail, that's committed a serious crime. But after going on this documentary, I realized that that's just a stereotype that we put on these people. They've changed. They've deserved a second chance. They've been through the legal process, and they deserve to be a citizen.
Based on what I've seen filming the Second Chance documentary for the HELP program, I believe that the returning citizens that are involved with the HELP program do deserve a second chance.
The word felon to me meant this person that did some horrible act, like killing somebody or stealing something, but in making this documentary, I learned that a felon is just like a term to put somebody down. Where do you think you would be without the HELP program right now?
If I wasn't in the HELP program right now, I'd probably be on the streets right now selling drugs, from female house to female house, in jail. That's another one. I think the biggest thing, I'll probably be in the penitentiary right now, if not dead.
What I saw through the HELP is a brotherhood, a support network. And the federal government has recognized that peer mentoring is very successful in offender reentry because you have an individual who has basically walked the walk that you've walked. But when they start to meet the HELP program or we sit down and have dinner with other individuals, it becomes humanized to the population.
It just molds you into a better citizen, and it becomes a habit. You're so used to doing it every day, you start teaching others how to do it. I mean, it's good seeing you here. I mean, you inspire us.
One of my objects is to start turning over the responsibility of the program to the guys themselves, and they are assuming it. They're graduating. And I hope by June I can sit back in a rocking chair and rock, and they run the program. No.
If I went in this program, bro, I'd probably be dead or in jail just because what my mindset was of me not having nothing. And that opportunity come, man, humble yourself and evaluate yourself without anybody evaluating you first and be like, yeah, this for me. And it might not be for you, but we'll never cross you out. You always gonna be in the HELP program. So whenever you're ready, we gonna be here. That's the significant thing about the HELP program. We never give up on anybody.
The future of the HELP program is to basically, how I see it is the HELP program being one of the stronger icons in Cincinnati as far as getting guys into employment.
I can see the HELP program being very successful with all these ideas that's brewing. It's like sky is the limit for us. Try to transform Cincinnati to the point where more jobs, less violence.
I got a problem with us calling people ex-offenders. We don't call pastors ex-sinners. We call them pastors because that's what they're doing today. They weren't always a pastor. We just got the testimony. But we don't identify by that. So we need to stop identifying individuals about where they've been because it's a negative connotation to it. We have to stop judging people by where they're being. We have to judge them on where they're going.
I've got one more thing, is the stories that they're telling is the experience of the doors that are closed. We've got a group of young men who aren't going to make it. They're going to go back. They're going to be reincarcerated. But there are a larger group of young men who, if they have the support and have people behind them, they move forward, like Nate and Arque and Jermel. We're tired of having doors closed.